So when the Samsung Z Flip 7 FE was announced alongside the Samsung Z Fold 7 and the Z Flip 7, I got excited as finally a Samsung FE series flip phone is here, but so let's talk about the FE series phone that most of us can afford, the Samsung S25 FE. And also, should you wait to get this or just get the S24 FE? And the reason why that question matters is that the launch of these Fool's Edition, I mean to say the Fan Edition devices, usually occurs around September to October, like October's first week or more specifically around the Flipkart BBD sale. And since this year the Dussehra is happening a little early, so the BBD sale dates could be also a little early this year, like between the 17th to 24th September. So expect the launch date of the S25 FE to be around that. So when that happens around the same time, should you get the S24 FE or wait for the S25 FE or just get the S25 FE? So for that you need to know about these changes happening this year and of course the pricing to judge the value of this phone. Starting with the design, and it's a crime to even consider that Samsung could pull off a new design. This is the latest real image, close to the renders that were leaking around, and yeah, it mostly looks the same. Except for those cameras, like why are they that big? It seems like they are trying to look into my soul, which is already empty. And yeah, as usual it is gonna resemble the flagship S25 or S25 Plus look with more squared off edges, but the interesting thing is that this phone is gonna get much slimmer. Like the S24 FE is around 8mm in thickness and it's around like 213 grams in weight, but the S25 FE is gonna be like 7.4mm in thickness, which is very similar to that of the S25 Plus, and so the weight might also be reduced to around 190 grams. So design wise not so much of a difference, but dimensions and weight wise it's gonna feel more like a flagship phone now. And yes, you will get the IP68 rating with Gorilla Glass Victus Plus front and back glass protection. I'm not expecting Samsung to put something like the Victus 2, even though Victus Plus is also a sort of a flagship grade glass protection, so yeah, won't be disappointed. And one of the reasons why this phone could get slimmer and trimmed down is because of supposedly using a flexible AMOLED display, as the second reason might disappoint you, so starting with the good news first. Which means you can finally say bye-bye to these big bezels which were available in these past two FE series phones. As using a flexible AMOLED means that it could be easily folded, so it will be very easier to get those thin symmetrical bezels. I tried to use some editing magic on these live leaked images but found nothing. I mean, these upper bezels look promising, and if these renders are true, then yeah, you could get sort of a way thinner and symmetrical bezel. But don't expect too much though. The display would probably be the 6.7-inch Full HD Plus, yes, not the 1.5K display, which will be a dynamic AMOLED 2x 120Hz display. Now whether it will be an LTPO one, I highly doubt though. But yes, expect a more flagship looking display with better colors, deeper contrast, and most importantly, slimmer bezels all around. The processor on the other side will probably be the Snapdragon 8 Elite.
Hold up! Wait a minute!
Got you. That's only happening in some parallel universe where Samsung actually listens to its customers. But yeah, in this universe you are stuck with the Exynos 2400, not the 2400E, even though both of them were basically the same. Just like the S24 and the S24 Plus. And so performance wise there would be very negligible differences unless Samsung does something with the software magic. But yeah, that's it. It isn't bad, but hardcore gamers, this phone would still not be made for you guys. Not that it matters to you. And you will get 8GB of LPDDR5X RAM with 128GB of UFS 3.1 storage and 256GB of UFS 4.0 storage. I mean 12GB of RAM with 256GB of base storage variant should have been nice, but again I don't expect these things from Samsung. The cameras are also gonna remain the same, which is a 50MP main with an ISOCELL GN3 sensor probably, 12MP ultrawide and the same 8MP 3x telephoto lens. At least a 10MP like the flagship series should have been there. The only upgrade in the camera wise you might get to see is in the front camera, which might get bumped from 10MP to around 12MP. With autofocus or not, who knows. But overall you can expect improvements in both photos and videos, mainly from using sort of a new processor. And yes, you will get up to 8K 30fps recording with 4K 60fps recording from the front and the main camera, and the rest in 4K 30fps with camera switching. Now the disappointing second part of that weight loss and slimmer body of the S25 FE would be the using of the same 4700mAh battery in this one, and for 2025 or 2026 standards, because I think most of the people will buy that phone in that year, would be really low. Now some reports say that it might get bumped up to 5000 or 5500 mAh, which would still be better than this current one. So let's see what happens, but don't expect too much. And if it gets bumped up to 5000 mAh or above, you can expect a 45 watts fast charging limit instead of the 25 watts one. But is the charger will come out of your pocket, as after all you have to save the environment by spending your savings. But when it comes to wireless charging, it might get Qi 2 rated wireless charging. So that means you could magnetically wireless charge this thing like MagSafe, but you might need to buy a proper case that would work with this one, as it doesn't have magnets built in. It would still be 15 watts wireless and about 5 watts reverse wireless. I mean, if somehow the 4700 mAh is more than enough for this one for you. Now most importantly, all of these updates will heavily depend upon the software optimization, as hardware wise there isn't much of a difference. And this phone might be the first Samsung flat phone apart from the Z Flip and the Z Fold to come out of the box with One UI 8 with Android 16, and will get 7 years of OS and security updates with basically all important features from the Samsung flagships with proper AI support. So now that pricing which decides it all. Now I think as usual the S25fe might also launch at a ridiculous price of about 60,000 rupees initially. So if you need a phone and can't wait, then I think the S24fe won't be a disappointing choice compared to this one. Yes, it will bring some important changes, especially in the display bezels and the size of the phone, which it should have bought in a long time ago. But if you want a phone now, get the S24fe, or you could wait for like at least 4 months after the launch. Then I think the S25fe will then be easily be found around 40,000 rupees for the base variant or till the next PPT, which would be kind of ridiculous but also smart. But let's say if Samsung launches this around 45,000 rupees, okay, just imagine, okay, and after using some card offers you can grab this around 40,000 rupees, then this would be a better deal. But that's too much to ask for from Samsung. So what would you do? Buy the S24fe or wait another year to get the S25fe in the next BBD sale? Let me know in the comments. And this is a comparison between the S23fe and the S24fe if you're confused, or the S24 and the S24fe. Do give them a watch. Until the next one, this was Rideep. See you guys.